Dr. Srini, how are you?
Hi, hi.
And
Hi,
you are
Dr.
live.
Poonam.
You are live now, ma'am.
So, hello everybody, and we welcome you to this new called Nari Nayan to Nivesh. First of all, we want to thank Dr. Jayashree and Dr. Shraddha for conceptualizing this whole series. And this is a very important subject which we talk very less about. Uh, This is going to be every Tuesday, every Wednesday for 2 months, and there will be a lot to gain from this because you will know about finances as well as financial planning on your personal as well as professional front, and both are important. Uh, it will be, I feel it will be life changing for everybody because money may not be the most important thing in this world, but yes, it is important for your personal happiness also and for your professional upgradation also. In both cases you need money. So how to plan it well is what the speakers will tell you, and we have very good panelists to give you more information about this. So I will now invite Dr. Jayashree to introduce the panelist. She herself is the speaker. So Dr. Jayashree, over to you.
Thank you, madam. And first of all, I would like to thank Dr. Mohita and Vos for such a wonderful opportunity. Opportunity not just for me, but opportunity for all of us to learn about this wonderful topic because it is a life skill which is like very essential. We all have learned ophthalmology, but this quite essential life skill we have an opportunity to learn now. So we'll utilize it fully. And this topic like Nari, Nayan, and Nivesh, it is actually a three pillars of life that is quite valuable to me, and I hope everybody agrees. Like it is the womanhood, the ophthalmology side, and we are so much interested in the investment aspect also. And over, as Madam has told, over these 2 months, we will be exploring the various aspects. With me, I have the great support of Mohita Madam and Dr. Shraddha in conceptualizing it and bringing it. And we have a great panel along with us who have readily agreed to take up this even without giving much thought to it. So, welcome you all on my behalf also. And Mohita madam does not need any introduction, not just for the women ophthalmologists, but all the people around in ophthalmology. She is our joint secretary of AAOS. She is the general secretary of WOS, Women Ophthalmic Society in India. Not only India, she is a woman ophthalmologist of worldwide also. And she has her own setup. She is heading her own place in just Tirupati Eye Center and Research Institute in Noida. And uh, thank you, madam. Actually, she is like a greatest multitasker that I have seen. She has many other aspects beyond ophthalmology. She has a rotary side to her. She has been very, personal aspect also a great person. And coming to my co-lead, Dr. Shraddha. She has done her fellowship in cornea and anterior segment from LVPI, and she is a founder of Central Eye Hospital at Malad, Mumbai. And beyond her ophthalmology, what ties us together is a keen interest in investment, and she has immense knowledge in finance. We will, over the few sessions that comes up, we'll also hear from her. And next, over to Dr. Srini sir. And we don't need not have any introduction to Dr. Srini because we are also familiar with him because he was the powerhouse behind eye economics that we all have like really waited and we had like episodes after episodes based on popular request. And thank you, Dr. Srini. He's a well-known cataract surgeon. He's a high-volume cataract surgeon who has like from an employee has gone to become an owner of a hospital. So that is an upgradation to his own finance. Thank you for joining, sir. Dr. Poonam Jain. So she's into oculoplasty, and she's a medical director herself of Namokar Eye and Oculoplasty Center at New Delhi. And she has also had key positions, executive member at the Council of OPI, editorial board of DOS, and she has she has interest in academics along with passion for finance. And coming to our next panelist, Dr. Kiran Gopalakrishnan. He did his PG from AIMS. After that, glaucoma. He's a glaucoma and anterior segment surgeon with immense potential, and he is from Trivandrum, and his knowledge in finance is also immense. Thank you for joining, Dr. Kiran. Next on our panel is Dr. Aruna. She has so many feathers on her hat. When I have gone through her degrees, she has MBA, she has law related, she has NABS related, in addition to being a senior consultant and HOD at Cataract and Refractive Services. She is immensely talented. She has so much knowledge in personal finance and wealth building, and she also believes in spreading information about personal finance. Next panelist, we have the youngest panelist of today. She is a model. It's a role model also otherwise, but actually a role model because in her residency itself, she has taken up personal finance and finance. Not only she is investing, but also she has taken up that finance knowledge of finance should go to doctors, and she is already doing using social media to spread knowledge on finance. Thank you for joining, Dr. Aprajita. And we have our Dr. Sujata. She is an eminent ophthalmologist from Andhra Pradesh. She has been in different positions and is a big stature in ophthalmology in her Andhra Pradesh and WOS. She is into beyond ophthalmology works also. Experience and vision is a guiding light, madam. Thank you for joining us.
So I'd like to complete this introduction by introducing our speaker for today, Dr. Jayashree. She is a glaucoma and cataract consultant, and she's done her post-graduation from Kerala and long-term fellowship in glaucoma from Narayan Nethralaya. Ma'am has a special interest in personal finance. She's had a successful earlier series on personal finance earlier also. And with this series, we can probably take it to the next level. So thank you, Dr. Jayashree, for agreeing to take part and, organizing this wonderful thing.
Thank you.
So now we invite Dr. Jayashree to talk on ABC of personal finance. As Dr. Shraddha just said, she has already run a series for us in the last year for 10 days on a continuous basis, and it was every day. So now we decided to be kind to her, and it is now once a week for 2 months, and this is on popular demand that we restarted this series. So we are all eager to hear you.
Thank you, madam. So I hope the slide is clear and I'm clearly audible, is it? Yeah.
Yes.
So As the name suggests, the topic is on ABCs of personal finance. So basically, the idea of this presentation is to give an intro to your personal finance and give a reason why you should have your personal finance sorted, what are all the aspects of personal finance, and to reassure that everybody can be at least a reasonable level of expertise in your finance so that you can take uh, informed decision when it comes to your finance. So let's directly go to the disclaimer. So in any presentation that will be routinely doing in a scientific presentation, what I usually say is that I do not have any financial interest in the presentation. But for a change, here I'm making a small change. I have kept everybody's financial interest in my mind and made this presentation. So, and also remember that the presentation is just for educational purposes, and the any losses that you that happens to you, please don't hold me responsible. But if for the gains, you can definitely thank me. Do contact your finance manager before making any financial decisions. So I'll just share a small story so that many of you can just relate with it. I was a complete financial illiterate before this coronavirus. Coronavirus actually has changed many things, many life for many people. This was also a life-changing event for me. When this coronavirus happened, I was financially completely illiterate. I did not have even an insurance in place. I did not have any stocks, any mutual funds, nothing. I was just getting money. Money goes into our savings account. Sometimes after loading in the savings account, it just moves to FD. That was the scenario, and I was spending a lot. When I knew that I did not have an insurance and the risk was, the red alert was hit, that was the time I thought I'll take finance into control and started learning. And this I'm still telling the story because I know that I'm not alone in this story. I'm not alone in this scenario. And if I can do, all of you can do. So I'm not alone in the story. I told so because the statistics also shows that financial literacy is way less, and amongst female it is much more less in India compared to the global average. When it comes to investing in stock market, only less than 5% of the total population invests in Indian stock market. And so what is the reason? Who needs to be blamed? Even if it is late for you, please do start your financial management. You can blame your curriculum, but all those which was not taught in your curriculum was not learned later. It is a basic essential life skill that you should master. It is not that complex and all. You need not have that much of maths or finance knowledge. If that was the case, it would have been the maths teachers who would be most financially sound. I am not rich enough. If you're not rich enough, it makes all the more reason for you to invest and start early. Another lame excuse that is possibly heard most, it is that it is done by my father or husband. But traditionally, women are known to be savers. You must have seen like mothers saving money in the kitchen vessels or keeping that last bit of gold ornaments for seasons, times of need. And it is seen that women are better at building long-term wealth because they tend to be panicking less and becoming more disciplined. So it is said that when money flows into the hands of woman who has the authority to use it, everything changes, not just for that woman, but their families and the community. This was told by Melinda Gates. So personal finance, the name is personal plus finance. It simply means that there is an element of finance in it, and it is as equally personal. So it varies from person to person. But it is an personal finance is an umbrella term. It includes insurance, emergency fund, debt funds. Debt funds are fixed income assets, retirement funds, equity, tax saving, and many other parameters. So everything we will just have one word and proceed. Insurance is an important parameter. Since I started with insurance because I did not have any insurance at that time, and that was the most important parameter at the point of time when I started. And everybody should have medical insurance. There is something called life insurance or similar insurance called term insurance. And most important insurance for any healthcare worker is a professional indemnity insurance. So professional indemnity insurance is very important. Professional indemnity is very important because we are in an era of um, in medical legal cases, and any case which goes against you can actually ruin you. You can just get eroded of your wealth. So coming to medical insurance, what you need to know is that all the family members, the youngest to the eldest, need to be under cover. And if you have an elderly parent, you should not take a family floater. That is, all family floater is all these will be covered in subsequent sessions. So that is why I'll just take one point. Family floater is a scheme where all the family is covered under single insurance. So that single insurance should not be taken considering your parent into it, because it is the eldest member of the family who will be considered for taking the premium. Do not take the rider. So if you have taking critical care illness or other parameters like cancer care and all, you should not club it with medical insurance. Rather, you can club with your term insurance, because term insurance premium does not vary from year to year, whereas medical insurance premium changes every year. In spite of having a medical insurance, it is very important to have something called health fund. You have to earmark a fund which is an equally easily liquidatable, something that you can take it out easily for a health care purpose. So even if you have a medical insurance, sometimes what happens, it gets rejected. Sometimes what happens, some part only gets paid and all. If to meet that emergency, in spite of having an insurance, always keep something called health fund. Coming to life insurance, life or term insurance need to be taken only for earning members. Non-earning members need not take life insurance. The coverage, you should be taking a premium, that is coverage up to 20 times of your yearly salary. So if at all an earning member is not there to provide for the family, the absence should not be felt financially. That is the idea behind that. So as early as you take, the premium will be much less. There is a concept of endowment where it is like money back policy. ULIP is called unit linked policies, where it is a process of clubbing your insurance with investment. What happens when you club your insurance and investment? Both the jobs are not properly done. If you separately do it, what the investment gives you more return, the insurance give you more coverage. So this both the purpose is not served when you combine both. So it is better to avoid endowment or ULIP. Another important parameter that you have to set up as soon as you start your financial journey is an emergency fund. Emergency fund is an easily liquidable. Easily liquidatable means whenever you want, you can immediately withdraw that money. So it should not be in real estate, it should not be in bonds where there is a lock-in period. So this has to be like any salaried employee should have at least 6 months of monthly expense stored in such a way. And any business owners like has their own clinic and all, at least 1 year, they should have monthly expense kept aside. So do not keep even this money in savings account. And it savings account, it is around 2% and all, on an average 2.5%. So emergency fund is another important. Multi-option deposit is something that is not very much heard of. What happens is in savings account, there is an option called multi-option account. So multi-option deposit, what happens is that beyond a level of uh, uh, money in your account, that can be transferred into something called something similar to FD. But in an FD, what happens that money, if you need to break it, you have to break the whole FD. Say something like, if I have kept an MOD cut off as 25,000, whatever money and I have a 50,000 in my savings account, this 25,000 goes into MOD. And subsequently, if I need 10,000 from that MOD, I can withdraw just 10,000 and 15,000 still remains this MOD. The advantage is that one is splittability. Second one is that 15,000 still remains like an FD and earns the interest of that FD. So the splittability, no need to break that FD, and that is the advantage. So you have to ask for the option of MOD from your bank. Coming to debt. Debt is something called fixed income assets. We are all familiar of these debts, but we don't know the term debt. So the debt is called some we are all heard of Public Provident Fund, PPF, which has a 15-year lock-in period. Employee Provident Fund, those who are working in government sector and all, the other companies like IT company are all familiar with Employee Provident Fund. These are all very nice methods because they are tax efficient also. But the thing is, like, they give fixed uh, interest rates, and some portion of your allotment asset has to be in the debt also. Suganya Samriddhi Yojana, good for women, girl child, senior savings schemes are there, and otherwise also there are some sections called bonds and debentures. Basically, there are something called these bonds and debentures are when the companies like Tata or L&T or even the government takes loans from public like you and me and give an interest for taking that loan, and at the end of maturity after a certain period they give you back the total amount that was given to them. That at the maturity they give you the capital back, and that is called a bond or debenture. So a trustworthy company or government bond is always good. Coming to another set of aspect in personal finance is retirement funds. So ideally, if you ask, when should we start planning for your retirement? It is not at your 30, 40 or 50. It is from the day one of your salary. The first salary when you get, you have to ideally plan for your retirement. So a government has brought about new schemes like the NPS, National Pension Scheme, and the Tier 1 is for the retirement scheme. The advantage of usually government schemes are like fixed income schemes which gives fixed interest, but the NPS has an equity exposure, and in that what happens is that you can choose how you want to invest in FD or in savings bank and all. You cannot ask them to put some portion in equity, some portion in debt, and all those like that. But in NPS, what you can do is you can ask them, I want this and this company, this and this bank to manage my money, and I want this and this percentage, say 75% of my money should go to equity. 15% should go into bonds and 5% to other alternative assets like that, and all you can tailor make. And if you don't know how to tailor make, there is something option called auto which adjusts to your age-wise risk factor. So the importance here again is the tax exemption, and purposefully the retirement fund is made little difficult to withdraw in between. So there are only 3 to 6 times withdrawal that is allowed throughout the entire period, so that it is done purposefully so that something beautiful works for you. That is called the compound interest. Time is given so that the money increases with compound interest. And at the end of your retirement from the age of 60 and or subsequently you can extend the period also, you can withdraw this lump sum money. Initially it was 60% that you could withdraw and 40% has to be taken as a pension scheme. Now with a new change in NPS scheme, what has happened is that up to 80% can be withdrawn as a single lump sum and 20% has to go as annuity. But everybody has this issue of how much should I save for my retirement? Whether I will outlive my retirement corpus. What will happen if I outlive my retirement corpus is the biggest tension everybody has. So for an Indian scenario, our national NISM, Securities Exchange has brought a calculator and I'll show that subsequently, where you give the input of your parameters, and then it gives the amount that is required and how much you should save yearly. All those parameters will be shown in the even if you calculate your retirement corpus, it should only be for the retirement purpose. You should separately have a medical insurance, and you should ideally cover your medical expenses. All the other expenses, the children's marriage, children education, should not be clubbed into this retirement corpus, and it has to be tailor-made only for the retirement purpose, because we have to follow something called 4% rule, ideally 3.3% for Indian scenario, because this is how much money a retiree should withdraw from their retirement corpus every year, so that it at least stays for your 30 years of post-retirement life. And this is that calculator. If you enter the values in all these parameters and in all these columns, what you get is the corpus that you need to save. And there is something called this thing, FIRE. That is a new trending term in finance. FIRE means financial independence and retire early. So everybody is working hard and they want to retire a little bit early. So this FIRE is a new concept. But to achieve FIRE, there are, that is little beyond the scope of the discussion. We'll subsequently, during retirement discussion, we'll tell that. Coming to equity exposure, and the basic equity exposure, initially we have to give through what is called as mutual funds. So mutual funds is a basket of multiple asset classes. It could be a mutual fund of stocks, it could be a basket of bonds, even other parameters like commodities, bonds, gold, silver, and can come as a mutual fund, or a group of these things come together in a basket called mutual funds. So many people come together under a finance manager and buy parts of these mutual funds. So it is mutual funds are run by companies. Then there are two types of mutual funds called index funds and active funds. Index funds, what they try to do is basically, we have two stock exchanges, the BSE stock exchange and the NSE stock exchange. And the initial 30 of the BSE is called, initial 30 companies of the BSE is called Sensex, and the initial 50 companies of the NSE, National Stock Exchange, is called the Nifty. So if we are just taking that initial 50 companies and mirroring their performance directly, it is called Nifty 50. So you are not trying to find out better companies and put your money there. So if you're just reflecting the performance of your Nifty 50, it is called index fund. So to just mirror something, there is not much effort taken, and hence the expense ratio, the price we are paying to get that done, is way less than active funds. Active funds are where the finance manager has to really work to find out stocks that is going to beat the Nifty 50 or beat the stock market. So that way they are using their effort and you pay more, and it is called active funds. So if you are not very familiar, if you are not very comfortable, ideally you can start with index funds also. As the stock exchanges mature, what happens is that it is generally seen that the active funds tend to slowly not outperform index funds also. So it is not a big loss if you are just investing on index funds also. And coming to ETFs is also like a mutual fund. But the difference between a mutual fund and an ETF is, ETFs, as its name suggests, is exchange traded funds. These mutual funds which gets traded in the exchanges. So on brokers like Zerodha or other platforms, when these mutual funds get listed, so they are called exchange traded fund. So what is the advantage of getting listed is that you can utilize the small fluctuation throughout the day. On a mutual fund, you have at the end of the day value, and in an ETF, you have throughout that session of trading, you have the values fluctuating. And hence, ETF also is not managed significantly by any mutual fund manager, and hence the expense ratio is even less than the index funds. So these are basic essentially difference between active funds and passive funds, and ETFs also. So we have heard that very common phrase from 1990s last, that mutual fund sahi hai. But what is sahi for you has to be determined by you. And another most important thing is that the difference between regular funds and the direct funds, that is um, uh, and that has to be known by you. So if you approach a finance advisor, just see that your mutual fund you are taking is through the direct way and it is not the regular way. What happens in a regular mutual fund is that beyond this expense ratio, a commission also goes to the mutual fund agent, and this expense ratio, which commission also, if it is little, even 0.1 or 0.5 or something like that, when the amount increases, it also goes from the interest that you get. It also goes from the benefits you get over the years, and it also erodes the money you accumulate over time. So make sure that whichever mutual fund you take, it is through the direct one. And coming to direct stock picking, main first thing is, like, it is not essential that everybody should pick stocks by yourself. It is not essential. People who are all some of the greatest CEOs in India, who greatest CEOs of mutual funds in India, are not at all investing in stocks directly. They are just putting all the money in mutual fund. So if you have enough time to devote, if you have significant interest, if you know how to read and understand the finances of companies at that scale, then only go and invest, because you are owning up every stock, every share means you are owning that portion of the company. So there is an ownership when you buy a share, and it should not be a blind process. Nowadays, because of this digital era and zero brokerage platforms, this has become a lot easier. And beyond this COVID period, people have the number of people who are investing and trading has increased significantly. So in spite of that, that does not become a reason to put money in stocks without knowledge. But if you are very informed, you can actually find out multi-baggers and make ease the wealth with proper knowledge. But trading is even little more difficult, especially people who are on job, because trading happens on a window between 9:15 to 3:30 p.m. and you have to have continuous eye on the variations of even if you say about stop loss and other activities, still you have to have an eye on the metrics of stock values, and hence it may not be suitable. So coming to the returns from various investment aspects, you can see that the inflation in India over 30 years, this is the value from December 2024, and the inflation has been reducing over time. So that is the growth parameter that India has a growth story lying ahead. We need to participate in the growth story. So that is my basic concept. So we can see that Sensex has outperformed other aspects of assets. And along with that, whenever you get dividends from the stocks that you invest in, this profit or the interest that you get increases much more. And this is the last 10 years ka performance chart. You can see that the gold and silver has outperformed, because the last 2 years was a magical year for gold and silver, and that was ideally an outlier situation. But just kindly note that how much is the real estate performing? It was just 4.7%. So personal finance is a process. You have to identify what it is, a process which needs to be always checked. It is for identify your current, when you start, you have to identify your current financial position and set your financial goals. Attach one investment to which to the goals attached to it. Always, at least every 6 months, reallocate and your assets. So if at all your equity becomes heavier, you have to reallocate one portion of that into debts. And if debt becomes heavier as the interest rate increases, then you have to allot towards the equity. So that type of balancing has to keep happening now and then, at least once in 6 months. Very important to identify what is asset, what is liability, where all the income happens, where all the expense happens. So whatever depreciates over time, like a car, a flat that you have taken which could depreciate over time, is a liability. So you sit with your spouse. This personal finance or a finance of a house has to be not decided by a single person. It has to be a combined decision, and sit with your spouse. Take help of a finance manager, but fix these things. It is the aim to increase assets and income and reduce expenses. So basic concept, the basic equation of savings, which is income minus expenses, has to change. Whatever is remaining after expense is not your savings. You have to pay yourself first. So whatever is remaining after savings should go to expenses. So the mindset has to change. This is the cash flow pattern from the famous Rich Dad Poor Dad. You can see that many of us are trapped in this middle class mentality. What happens is that income comes, it goes into expenses, it also goes to what is called liabilities. You have loans to pay, you have credit cards to pay, all those things and expenses. So we are not building assets. What happens in rich people is that they build assets, they get income from that. Again, from that income, they build assets again, and liabilities are not much. So it is a vicious cycle of wealth creation that happens. Most important is to set goals. Separate goals, separate investment for different goals. You have to classify at mandatory goals, optional goals, long-term goals, short-term goals. Only for long-term goals that you should tailmark with equity. Short-term goals and all is equity not okay with equity. Equity goals tailmark to equity has to be at least after 7 years. Ideally, if it is 10 years, best, because that is the runway that equity needs to give long-term wealth. Make plans to reach the goals. Start actions in the direction. So tailmark each goals. Periodically revisit your portfolio. Perform portfolio balancing as previously told. And another most important thing, if you are into equity, is that you should have an exit plan. As I have told, that the initial runway of 7 to 10 years you should have. And for exiting also, you should have that runway. If you are planning to like withdraw money at the end of 10 years, it should not be sharp 10 years. You should have 7 to 13 years in between, because you never know when you are going to have a crash of the market, and you don't want to withdraw your hard-earned money at the crash time. The most important thing that you should know and do is start as soon as possible. The best day to invest was yesterday, but at least do it today. So how to know that it was best to do it earlier? We'll see with an example. We're at the age of 25, planning to retire at 60, has years of 35 years of investment. So just with an SIP of 7,000, he is able to make an investment, a corpus of 7.77 crores. But Vyom had an opportunity to invest only at the age of 40. But to compensate such loss of time, what he decided was increase the investment more than 3 times. So he has 20 years ahead, but still investing more than 3 times, he's still not able to reach that retirement corpus. He's just halfway through. So what here it shows is that the interest on interest explodes with time. It is an exponential growth that you see. Your deposits are not increasing that much, but the interest on interest, that is the compound interest, works magic. So whoever asks if there is a tree or plant that gives you money, I would say that yes, there is a plant or tree that will give you money, but you have to plant it in time and give it time to bear the fruits of wealth. So just to show the importance of power of compounding, if you deposit 15,000 rupees for 15 years with an annual return of 15%, you are just investing 27 lakhs. What is your net worth going to be? it is going to be 1 crore. But if you just turn the clock and make it 30 years, you are investing just double of this, 54 lakhs. You have any clue to what amount this 1 crore becomes? It is a whooping 10 crores. So that is the importance of compound interest. So definitely compound interest is the eighth wonder. Those who understands it earns from it, and those who doesn't pays it. Most important thing is diversification. Do not put all the eggs in one basket. Whatever falls, whatever crashes, you are balanced by another asset class. And most important thing of investment is to beat inflation. So that has to be known. Coming to another parameter which is of great importance at this point of time is gold and silver. Gold and silver is an asset class that is mandatory. Usually they have an inverse relationship with the share market performance. At least like 5 to 10% of your asset needs to be allocated to the gold and silver. Usually gold silver ratio is something like 2:1, that is tolerable. That is what is advocated. And gold usually is told to behave like a large cap behavior, which is giving stability to your commodity portion, and silver rather behaves like a mid cap. So silver usually have significant growth sometimes, but then it crashes also that way. So recently also you should have seen that 130% of growth, 103% of growth, and it has reduced by 50% recently from the January highs. And which is the best method of investing in gold or silver? The previous best method of investing in gold was sovereign gold bonds. So in addition to giving the appreciation which happens naturally to the gold, it was also giving 2.5% interest with the sovereign backup. But sovereign gold bond has been discontinued, and now the best possible method is gold ETF. The difficulty what we Indians have, and Indians especially now, I mean the place where I am from, Kerala, they have so much of affinity to ornaments, gold ornaments. So gold ornaments, physical gold has so many issues. One is making charge, second is lack of purity, third is storage issues. Whenever you are selling, you will not get the similar value to it. So compared to that, gold ETF is much better because it you do not get actual physical gold in your hand, but the gold do appreciate. Coming to real estate, we have seen that the 10%, I mean, the 10-year growth of real estate was just 4.7%. And it is very okay to have a home for you to live, an office for you to work and all. But whether a second home is an investment is something that you have to really consider, considering 4.7% type of and very cyclical type of appreciation of real estate values. The issue with real estate is that it is not liquidatable. Huge amount has to be given as a down payment or subsequent payment. Paperwork, property tax, maintenance, rent issues, all n number of issues. But as a solution, there is an asset class which has come up, which is called as a real estate investment trust, or even there is called something called InvITs, where the investment, I mean, what you say, I'm not getting that term as such, but the roadworks, the NHA and all those also we can invest. So in that, what happens, like a mutual fund, investors put money in real estate trust, and they take malls, big malls like Embassy, Nexus, all those places, Mindspace and all. So big real estate places they take for rent, and the growth appreciation also happens. One side, rental income is generated, and at least 90% of this rental income is to be distributed amongst the investors. So there is income generation, but you are not owner of a real estate piece. The advantage is that you don't have to have huge amount of cash. You can buy like a mutual fund. As told, the aim is to beat inflation. There is something called rule of 70. This rule of 70 says by what time your wealth becomes half. So say if your inflation rate in your country is 7%, by 10 years, if you have 1 lakh at this point, after 7 years, your income will become, your 1 lakh will become 50,000. So how soon your wealth erodes is what is given by this. So that is how inflation is important, and your need for investment. Saving does not beat inflation. Saving is keeping your money into something that does not beat inflation. Investment is something that you do to beat inflation. Very important to have budget in your life. You should basically know that even if you have very minimal salary also, you should follow this 50-30-20 rule. At least 20% has to go into your savings. But if you have more earning potential, this 20 has to increase profoundly. The more you save earlier in your life, the more it compounds over time. Budget is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. At the month end, you should not sit and think like I mean, it might be like after years together, decades together, I have earned so much, but what has happened to the money that I have earned? Another thing, for at least for me, it was practically useful. 1 week spending rule. In this era of social media, Instagram and all, so many temptations are there. You endlessly purchase things on one click. Just delay that instant gratification. Give it time. Don't even give 1 week. Next day only you will not remember whether thought of buying it. 40% EMI rule. All the EMIs together, less than 40% of your take-home income. Individually, all the loans has to be less than this percentages. So do not fall into the debt traps. So what are the lessons that I have learned over these years over this small little time is that most important, start early. Earlier the better. SIP is your friend. Diversify. Knowledge is money. Learn before entering the stock market. Most important. Time in the market, not timing the market. You do not wait for appropriate opportunity, or you will never know when it comes. Give time for the investment to grow. Let the plant grow and give you fruits of wealth. Don't keep withdrawing before reaching the goal. Never fall into the debt trap of EMIs and credit cards. Be financially disciplined. Avoid lifestyle inflation. Whenever money increases, whenever your salary increases, whenever your bonus comes, it's not like immediately buy the sedan from a hatchback, 2 BHK to 3 BHK, basic phone to iPhone. All those transition erodes wealth. That's an attitude issue also. Invest in skill development, increase the income. It is essentially to increase the primary income so that there is the capital increases, then only the compounding happens. Understand your risk appetite and behavior. Most important, if you are not a risk taker, you should not give significant exposure to small cap and all. If it falls, if the market falls, what will you think? When you see a crash, if you are thinking a sale has happened, I will buy more stocks, please take that risk. If you have a heartache, don't do that. Be satisfied with the bonds. It gives fixed income and good sleep. Avoid FOMO. Invest in vehicles you understand. So crypto, all this unlisted shares and all those is not for everybody. If you understand, you do. If you don't understand, don't do. Important to share your financial investment details to the beneficiaries, because something happens to you, they are the people who needs to have access to it. Do add nominee to all your accounts and asset classes whenever possible. Always consider writing a will. Very, very important. It can be modified at any time, at any day, and any number of times. Don't leave without writing a will. It causes more trouble to the beneficiaries. After all this, you should remember that it is YOLO. You only live once. So celebrate your life. It is not for frugality that we are speaking. It is for increasing your quality of life. You should know what is your enough. It's YOLO, and learn your enough. It is for the better quality of life. So wish you a happy investment. Thank you. So over.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jayashree. That was wonderful. In fact, that was an eye opener for almost all of us, and I think we don't even know 5% of what you actually taught us. And few your take home messages were very good. And I really like this pay yourself first because we pay that's something which we never do. And build assets is also a very good concept that you gave to us. Now, though it is a program of Women Ophthalmologists Society, it is useful for both men and women. That is what I want to say. And yes, in Women Ophthalmologists Society, we always keep men as the most important and in the forefront. So my first question will go to the panelists, Dr. Srini and to Dr. Kiran Gopalakrishnan. I was wondering, suppose if I have in my savings account, according to Jayashree, we should not have much money in our savings account. Suppose I had a 50 lakh rupees in my savings account and I was getting a 2.5% interest. What will be the best way of investing out of all these? Because she has told us so many. Please give us a simple way of investing this money.
Kiran, may I?
Sure, Srini, sure.
Kiran?
Go ahead, please.
Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah. So Kiran is much more knowledgeable in investment this thing, but I'll say I would say like somebody who's keeping 50 lakhs in savings account. See, it's he or she has not really started investing. Probably the safest and the easiest way to go about it is to start investing in mutual funds. And as Jayashree said in her talk, I mean, wonderful talk.
I think we cannot hear Dr. Srini. He seems to have got frozen. So till then, Dr. Kiran,
I
can
just
you
want
advise?
to know because you made a statement that you have 50 lakhs in your savings account. Is that the whole portfolio? That is the first thing I need to understand. Is 50 lakhs the whole amount of money that you have? Or you have already invested, you have another set of, let's say, 1 crore in equity funds and
No.
investments.
50 lakhs is all I have. Suppose 50 lakhs is all I have.
All
Or you can
right.
increase the amount. Suppose 1 CR is all that I have, and I have not invested anything till now. And if I have a habit of just whatever I save, I put it in my savings account. So from Jayashree's talk, I can understand this is what she does not recommend. So, but out of all the things that she told us, what should we do?
Yeah, actually, she has already mentioned this, but I'll just reiterate it once more. Before you start thinking of any investments, if you have 50 lakhs with you, the first thing you have to do is create an emergency corpus. The emergency corpus, again, should be approximately, as she said, about 6 months of your expenses. But for that to happen, you should know exactly what your expenses are on a monthly basis. And you can get an idea of what your expenses are on a monthly basis only if you do some expense tracking, which is very easy by apps. But that should be the very much the first thing that anybody who is a young person who is starting to earn, that's one of the first things that they should do. This is not something that is usually mentioned so much in finance talks. That's why I want to make that very clear. You have simple apps, Quick Money Recorder, Moneyfy, anything that you have. So what you can do is you start putting your expenditure every day. It usually takes 1 or 2 clicks only. And then you have to track that expense at least for about a year, because in certain months your expenses will go up and certain months will come down. This will give you an idea of what your average yearly expenses are and monthly expenses are, and that will help you further in deciding what your emergency expenses are. And more importantly, that is also the first step in creating a retirement corpus, because any retirement calculator you use, any reasonably elaborate retirement calculator, the first thing that they will ask you is what are your yearly expenses, because that is how eventually the retirement or corpus also gets calculated. So that is the first thing, an emergency corpus. Then 2 things immediately comes is insurance, both life insurance and health insurance. So these 3 things needs to be covered first before you think about investing money. So health insurance, life insurance, and emergency corpus, and then you come to investments. Now, investments broadly, as she has already mentioned, you have three classes. You have equities, you have fixed, and you have basically gold and silver. I'll put simply as gold for the time being. And how much you want to allocate to each of these is asset allocation. Asset allocation is simply the most important thing that you need to do. It's not about choosing the best mutual fund. It's not about choosing the best fixed income instrument, the best option to invest in gold. Those are all important in its own way, but the allocation of how much you want to invest, and that will be very, very individualized. Of course, a simple calculation is to use your age as a criteria, and then, the younger you are, you invest more in equity. As you become older and older, you investments in equity comes down, and your investments in fixed income instruments go up. But this is a very basic, calculation, because if you're somebody who is born with a lot of generational wealth, you may not want to invest so much in equities. So that will be dependent entirely on your own bandwidth. But generally, the age-related calculation, which is automated, for example, in the NPS scheme, those kind of things can be very helpful in deciding what the asset allocation is. So somebody who is 30, 35 will be having a very different asset allocation with heavy emphasis on equities compared to somebody who is like 60 or 65. So again, I'm not giving you any percentage of asset allocation. That is something entirely different discussion, very complex discussion, in fact. But this is the basic things, as she has already mentioned. I'm just seeing 50 lakhs, 1 crore, whatever. First, emergency health insurance, term insurance, and then go into asset allocation. Thank you.
She also mentioned that 6 months of emergency fund, that's for a personal expenditure. Whatever, as you said, we can put it in that app and we can find out how much is our kind of whole year expenditure, and then that will help us calculating what is our 6 monthly expenditure, and that can be as an emergency fund. Now, I think you are a private practitioner.
I am a private practitioner. Yes.
So for a private practitioner, what should be that emergency fund for their practice? Now that was for personal, but suppose whatever is the expenditure, how much should it be, 1 year, 2 year? How much of fund should always be available?
Look, I'm a private practitioner, but I usually earn a salary. I just work in one of the private institute. I don't own an institution like Srini does now. But generally, from a personal finance perspective, yes, generally we mention 6 months expenses. Again, this is a very basic guideline. There are some theories which tells you, okay, you need to have 2 years worth of, funds which are very liquid in nature. That will take care of 2 years of expenses in a liquid form, whether it's in FDs or money market funds or liquid funds, whatever. And then, so there are various schools of thought. From a private practitioner perspective and a business owner perspective, and Srini will be able to answer. He is the new business owner, so he will be.
Dr. Srini,
Yes.
how much have you saved for your crisis? How much?
See, I would say, like, when I started my practice, I just started 6 months back, so I'm not a pro in this. But when I started the practice, see, I always had a plan, like I would have 6 months of HR expense or whatever, electricity, these things should be there with me. So that is initially it was like whatever loans that I had given to the company that is owned in the hospital, and whatever loans I've taken. So that was my plan, and that's still going to be the plan, because you don't really know when another COVID is going to hit. So 6 months is a bare minimum that you should be having. Ma'am, you have been running a hospital for a long time. Well, I'll hit the ball back to you. So what
In my
would be
case,
your
for many years, I had no concept of that there should be a emergency fund, because whatever used to come used to go into the hospital. But then one day somebody advised me this. They said the day you have at least 2 years of your running expenses, your mind will think in a better way, and you will be able to, put in new ideas related to marketing and all. It's very difficult to get a 1 year thing, 2 year thing. But yes, then I made a target. I should always have 1 year 1 year of running expenditure in my bank, and that actually gives me peaceful sleep, and I'm ready for any crisis. But yes, I was advised 2 years. So, but I feel that 2 years is quite a lot of money. So that's why I was
So
asking this question.
how do you keep that money? Like you put it in FD or because even it
So
has to
that's it.
when it should not be whatever it's giving you back should not be but below what inflation eats away from it. So
I put it in a, that's what I was asking Jayashree when I met her last week. What should I do? But as of now, I keep it in a bank which gives me a savings. There's one bank which gives an interest of around 7%. So I feel that beats inflation. But otherwise, most banks will give around 3%.
yeah,
So, but I don't know
she told
what's the best way
in
of
that
doing it.
like yeah, so you have a process where it gets swiped out into
Yeah,
FD.
auto sweep. That's what,
Yeah,
yeah. That
yeah.
is another
So
way I
that
think which should be good.
yeah. See, one more topic that she touched upon is that real estate investment trust. So what I have made a presentation at the Karnataka conference on that. So whatever I went through the literature and whatever learned, I feel that it's not a good way to invest. The basic problem in that is that the promoter has very low stake in that company. So it's all they are playing around with your money. So they have much less than 10%, 5%, and all in that. Whenever somebody, a promoter, uh, liquidates his portion in a company, that means that he's not really that interested or really keen on that company. So here, so this is an issue that is there, and uh, see, it's just a feeling that you have invested in the real estate. Much better would be to invest the same amount in mutual fund.
My question to Jayashree, any upper limit for holding silver or gold individually? How much amount, amount we can keep it in the silver or gold ornaments or whatever? Is there any upper limit from the government side that one individual can hold?
As of now, I am not very sure, madam, but there are rumors that was some regulations might come and all was around, but I am as of now I am not sure is if there is any upper limits. There are no inheritance or any law like that. That is known to me at this point.
There are no upper limits on how much gold, ornaments or silver. That would be a very disastrous political decision because nobody is going to, do that in India, especially with the penchant that Indian households, Indian women generally have for gold. That is not going to happen. Historically, it has happened. Historically, it has happened in the US. For example, during the Great Depression era, 1920s, late 20s, there was a clear mandate from the government that so I don't remember the exact amount, beyond or a particular amount, everybody was by law forced to sell their gold to the US government at a fixed rate, which was obviously very less than the market rates of gold. It has happened in the past in the US financial markets. So that way it might happen, but generally it will not, because it will be a disastrous political decision.
Indian
See,
women.
I want to add something. Recently, we came to know that the government has made a rule about how much you can hold. And it is supposed to be 500 grams of gold can be held by a married woman. And she has to prove that whatever excess she has beyond this has been inherited by her. Now, most of the families would not be able to provide that proof. And this happened recently when a colleague of mine had a raid, income tax raid. because all these things are not very clear and they're not there is no transparency about that. So this doctor had an income tax raid, and then the income tax people told them to produce. They immediately sealed the locker and in the house also, and there was enough gold in the form of ornaments as well. So they separated 500 gram for the lady and 500 gram for the daughter-in-law, and the rest of the money they asked them to produce the evidence of buying that in the form of receipt, or if they have inherited, there should be some will or something. Now, how many of us are keeping any receipts and other things? So their gold from the locker was totally confiscated by these income tax people. So there are some things that we are not aware of, and these rules. It'll do us good if we find out these rules.
And you're right. Recently, I purchased some gold, and there, at the shop, they told me that you must. I said, I don't want this receipt. They said, you must have the receipt because you may be asked at
Yes.
any time, and you should preserve all these receipts. So, classically, if whenever anybody bought gold, they were not bothered about the receipts, but they should be kept with the gold in your locker. There should be a file which should have carry all the receipts and all the details also.
Exactly.
This is not a legal threshold. This is what is generally referred to as non-seizure thresholds. This is specifically meant during income tax rates and this thing. So married woman 500 grams, unmarried woman I think
250
250
grams.
grams or something like that. Those are
Yes.
what we call as seizure or non-seizure thresholds. This is specifically applicable during income tax rates and things like that. But there is no legal cap on how much you can own as a person. That's what I was trying to say. But yes, during a raid, these things can, so so you can't raid beyond 500 grams. You have to give 500 grams to the married woman. And then for the other things, you have to account. That is true.
Yes.
I
No
don't
limit on
agree
how
with
much you
this
can own.
married women and unmarried women difference. It should not
So
be there.
for the
And
male member, it is
even
only up to 100
for
grams.
a male
100
member
grams.
should also be allowed. How much?
100
100
200.
grams. 100
And
grams. So.
Yes.
everybody
Yes.
should be equal.
Not
So-
before gold.
And my another question is,
Another thing is from again my understanding again, once you have to cross check it, but I understand that this is not applicable for gold bars and coins.
Yes, correct.
Correct.
my
It's
another
only for the
question is,
ornaments.
Yes.
Only for the
Jayashree,
ornaments.
Yeah.
Jayashree, my other question is regarding this. After 60 years, nobody is offering this life insurances to old people, and not much of any offer from any of the investors that we can have some money, we can keep it there, get some interest. At the time of need, we can get back the money. That type of thing, not the fixed deposits. Some better secured way we can people who are not very much interested in this trading and other things, not knowing all the trade procedures, and there is no way we can put them in and giving some life security, life insurance and health and all the things government can combine and offer us, so that after 60 years, 65 years, we can have a peaceful life, having money in some way, so that we can get back whenever we need. I don't think any of such schemes are available.
That is why, Dr. Sujata, it is important to understand this and start investing early and
Yes.
not wait. Isn't
But
it?
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
that. See, you have to take care of yourself. So, and that is the reason why Dr. Mohita is doing this program.
Yes.
So that by the end of these sessions, Sujata ma'am will be doing it on her own.
Sadly,
Yeah.
Yes.
sadly, we don't have social security aspects and all those things. So ideally, the thing is like what Madam told, no? In spite, I mean, whatever even if somebody is giving any insurance, health insurance, the premium is going to be skyrocketing type of premium. You don't rather go for that. It is like 75,000 premium and all, you don't have to pay. Rather, you keep it inside in a like hybrid type of fund, or even in a FD or something. And keep, I mean, every month you keep a portion to that, keep like an RD or FD, so that you, what I told about that health fund, no? Create a health fund. So whatever happens, an emergency happens, you have an easily liquidatable health fund earmarked for your health needs. So that is the best way for elderly people. Don't waste your money for health insurances at beyond a certain age.
Yeah, they are increasing every year.
Yeah.
That is what happening with the health insurances.
We are
And
So
increasing
now
cataract
another
surgery
question,
costs every
which
year, so obviously the health insurance premium will also increase. And healthcare cost, when it goes up, the health insurance premiums will go up. One important point I just wanted to just mention regarding health insurance, because based on my practical experience with taking my parents here and there, one of the problems why when you opt for health insurance of let's say 50 lakhs, something like that. But for example, health insurance of 1 or 2 lakhs, usually it's not really an ideal form of health insurance, because 1 or 2 lakhs, you should actually be able to comfortably spend from your own money. What you are aiming with health insurance is when you have a large, medical illness that can put you in critical care for, 20 days and the bill shoots up to very high levels, it should not really affect your portfolio so much. That is when health insurance is useful. One of the problems with health insurance premiums is that a lot of us usually, for example, let's say you are taking a health insurance for 50 lakhs with no sublimits on suite, etc., etc. Your premiums will be like 75,000 a year, etc. But what you can simply do is opt for a deductible, something like a 50,000 rupee deductible or something like that, because it helps you in two ways. Let us say you can easily spend 50,000 from your own pocket, right? So opt for a 50,000 deductible. The premiums will immediately come down tremendously. From 75,000 will come down to 25 or 26,000 for a coverage of 50 lakhs. The other thing is, like, I have had this experience with my parents. You go to a hospital, the patient is discharged in the morning, even at night, the patient is still there because the insurance hasn't come through, right? So, if you are going to a hospital where expenditure for a particular procedure or for whatever is there, it's less than 50,000, why even take health insurance? Don't utilize the health insurance and you opt for a 50,000 rupee or 25,000 rupee or even 1 lakh deductible, depending on your own bandwidth. It will reduce premiums and make it very easy when you have to go in for short procedures where you just spend money from your pocket and just come back.
So one thing I
Can I add on to the health insurance thing? See, if you can always opt for the super top up
Correct.
insurance. Like
That is
so
mandatory.
so I have a 25 lakh coverage for my family floater thing. For that, I'm paying about 60,000 a year, and I've added 1 crore super top up, which is costing me hardly about 12,000. So, so the thing here is that in the super top up, the payment comes after that 25 lakh this thing. That is the reason why. So we, as Kiran said, we are all bothered about that extra huge expense. Let's say, for some reason you need a liver transplant or something. See, that is where the extra expense is going to hit your family. So super top up plan for health insurance is a must.
Dr. Srini, what exactly is super top up? Like if I take a 25 lakhs insurance, health insurance.
See, that's what I'm telling, man. So that's why I told my this thing only. So I have a health insurance plan for 25 lakhs.
Right.
Okay. So for that, the premium is about 60,000 per year.
Right.
You add on to that by taking that super top up. I've taken 1 crore. So that insurance will start getting effective only after the total expense for your insurance of 25 lakhs
Okay,
is exhausted.
I got it. Okay.
Okay,
So it is
that is
basically
the reason why the premium is
1.25 CR, but only it starts only when 25 lakhs is already over. So 12,000, that's why the premium gets reduced to 12,000.
yes, yeah.
Yeah,
So I also want, so anybody was saying anything?
yeah, so I just
One by one, please. Who wanted to speak? Just raise your hand. Dr. Shraddha.
Yeah, so I just wanted to add. So I think for people, let's read up on top up policy and super top up. And the recommended thing would be to go for super top up policy. In super top up policy, try to get the policy of the same company of which you have the base policy. It helps with a little bit with the paperwork when you actually go in for the reimbursement or the cashless process. So
And
that
also make sure that the premium date is on the same day. Otherwise, you will miss out. That is a very practical thing that you should be doing.
Rather these are two different policies. These are two different policies.
These are
Right?
two different policies.
Yes.
These are two
Different.
different policies.
Yes.
Rather
Who
than
was-
taking
Yeah.
in the same with the same company, the main important thing in this super top up is taking on the same date as Dr. Srini has told. We can take with different two other companies also, but the standalone policy should never be after the super top up. It should be either before or on the same day. And we should also know that when we take the super top up, the base, as Dr. Srini has told, the base should be fully used up. If at all, if suppose in this 25 lakhs of the policy, if for the first ailment 10 lakhs is over, second ailment 10 lakhs is over, then we are left with another 5 lakhs only in the base policy. But super top up will not come into existence in the third ailment. Only we need to complete, suppose in the third ailment, if our bill is 15 lakhs, 5 lakhs only is left in the base policy. We may think that super top up will come into aid at this point, but super top up will not come. Apart from 5 lakhs, which will be covered by the base policy, 10 lakhs we should pay from our pocket. Then once the total 25 lakhs is exhausted, then only super top up will come into play. That will be in the fourth element. It will not come before that.
Okay. That's an important point. So after this, also I wanted to ask from the panelists, how much of, in current times, how much should be your professional indemnity as a surgeon? And what should be the specific features where we should see when we take this professional indemnity?
For ophthalmologists, they say around 1 crore, but if it is surgical departments, they say it as 2 crores. I don't have the basis for that, but I know that the numbers only I know.
Okay, so 1 crore minimum, because previously some people were taking, in fact, now also some are taking something like 50 lakhs or 25 lakhs, but that is less because when a patient files a complaint, I think they go into up to 1 crore also. And then suppose there are in a single year, you need it at two places, considering that how much our patients are becoming different, then what do you do?
See, it should be minimum 1 crore. And the condition you should check in that professional indemnity is that it should be 1:1. That is, it means that the whole amount can be used, whether it is for one case or whether it is for 4 cases. So
One is
there is no
AOA
capping as such.
to AOY. It should be 1:1.
Yes.
1:1, which
Yes.
means it should not be a capping. Right?
Yes.
There should be no. So whether you have to pay 25 lakhs or you have to pay 1 crore, that policy pays both. In either case, it pays.
If it is
Yes.
1:4, for example, if it is 1:4 and we have a litigation of 1 crore, then see 1 crore, our policy is 1 crore. 1 crore means 1:4. 25 lakhs only for one case will be dispersed. Even if it is 1 crore in the whole year we have, and the liability is 1 crore, only 25 lakhs only can be dispersed to that. The other 75 lakhs will not be dispersed. So we should always take AOA is to AOY, one column will be there. It should be 1:1.
1:1.
Usually the insurance guys, they will ask us to go for 1:2, 1:4. We should make sure that it should be 1:1.
Actually, the
Another
challenge
thing
is
that
that the
you have to,
insurance guys never tell us anything. They will just tell us to pay this premium, this is the link, and that's it. And we also never read our policies. So I think very important is that we should read our policies to understand what it is. Then
yeah,
only
see,
we know
one more
whether
thing that
it's
is there,
1:1 or
ma'am.
1:4.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
more thing is there. Like we have a very good IMA PP scheme in Kerala, where they take care of everything. So if you have a cover of 1 crore, that is the coverage that you have. They take care of your lawyer expenses and all. So we had a discussion whether we can add on to the AO Suraksha program, add on to that. So when I was going through the AO Suraksha this thing, see, they say, okay, coverage of 1 crore, but if the judge rules that you have to pay 1 crore compensation, the AS Suraksha won't give you 1 crore because they will deduct the lawyer expenses from that. So if the lawyer expenses and all have reached 25 or 30 lakhs, they'll give you only 70 lakhs. So all these things you have to consider before you take that indemnity. This thing, I'm sure that you're going to have a session on the insurance in this series, I mean, these all have to be discussed in that.
Yeah, in Kerala, it's usually a no-brainer for professional indemnity. Everybody chooses the professional protection scheme of the IMA, which has been running very, very strong for many years now. So it's usually nobody looks at anything else. It's just simply a no-brainer thing to sign.
Dr. Prajita, you have anything to,
I
as the
actually
young
had,
panelist, anything to tell us and all the audience?
ma'am, I actually had a specific question for Dr. Aprajita. If you can also, she's interested in AI. So while we are in this finance topic, if she can also probably throw some light on AI apps which are useful for finance.
Ma'am, AI in finance. Oh, first of all, I would like to, congratulate every one of you for this finance series. Like I was really amazed by this series, and I would like to thank you all for giving me this opportunity to talk on this as a resident level. It's like a very great deal for me. So, what personally I would have been using is in the first year, I used ChatGPT to make my Excel sheet. So, that is like very basic. But right now, there are many apps in the market for tracking and creating budgets, risk profiles, maybe goals, comparing the mutual funds, insurance. Financial concepts in simple language. So basically, the first one I'm personally using is Claude. So I have been using it for like everything right now. It has a like a payment subscription model, but you just have to tell that these are my investments and this is my salary. You just have to be a very simple in a simple language. You just have to give this is my salary and this much I want to have in my emergency fund or whatever fund you want. Or it just makes you an Excel sheet at even it tells you in which company you need to invest if you are into investing. As beginners, I don't think that people at my age or my level are very much interested into stock market or anything. They are mostly into SIPs or very protective kind of a thing. So yeah, basically what I am personally using is Claude, but ChatGPT Gemini, everything, everyone has every large language models right now has been a very helpful panel. But yeah, we have to be very secure about telling our whatever we are doing. We have to be very about security issues as well. We just cannot go into Google and just give our credentials to any app, anything on Google. So it has to be end-to-end encrypted first of all. So that's.
Can I make a comment?
Yes,
Uh,
ma'am.
AI is very useful in dealing with all these aspects, this asset allocation, how much and all, to get a vague idea, in the sense like we should not go ditto by ditto in that, especially because there are AI people, maybe Srini sir and Kiran knows it. Dr. Basil George, our AI guru. So I have spoken to him in length about whether we can use AI directly into how to use AI into finance and all. But in his own experience also, this hallucination is creating issues. So whatever stocks he has analyzed and invested in has actually done not good for him. So directly investing just based upon AI advice at this point still not recommended. So that hallucination is
Yeah,
still
actually, ma'am, there are many bots in the market as well. There you just have to put your money into it, and they are just investing it on your behalf. So it has been found out that it has made so many for the big companies. It has made so many losses for them as well because they were trying it on their own investments. So we have to be very crucial about putting our money or putting our whatever credentials we have on the internet.
Yeah, but information once gone to the digital cloud is already leaked out. So that you have to be careful what you want to give out.
Yeah, actually, we
Right.
can just ask questions and we can just help it out in how to start maybe or how to balance things out. But yeah, just as in it can be as of a supporter role, but it cannot do all the things for us.
As she has rightly mentioned, anybody who has a reasonably strong basic knowledge of personal finance can use it as a good accessory tool. Yeah, but generally, one thing that has been found previously, if you go by history, is that very high profile mathematics, very high profile calculations generally perform very poorly. Anybody who wants to understand this, there is a wonderful book called When Genius Failed. So this was about the long-term capital management, LTCM, which was founded in 1994. So it had all kinds of Nobel laureates in economics and very high-profile mathematicians, and it completely collapsed in 1998 because of a lot of unpredictable things. So I'm just saying that very high-powered calculations and high-powered these things may not always work in finance, even when it was by such a huge consortium of Nobel laureates and high-profile mathematicians. It's a wonderful book called When Genius Failed. If anybody wants to read, please go through it.
And another thing
One
is,
question I have from the panelists: what platform do you find these days the best for direct mutual fund investment? Earlier, I was using MyCams, but these days it's not that much user friendly. So, what all are you recommending for direct mutual fund?
Madam, I
Buying?
Zerodha
my
is good.
camps, so I don't know what
Zerodha.
is the problem. What is the difficulty you are facing currently with my camps? I just wanted to know.
No, it has become very cumbersome now to switch and all. It takes time. So I just thought maybe some other platform would be more quick.
I think mutual
Maybe
fund
because there are
company
too
has
many
always.
funds. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a problem. That is because you have
Ah,
too many funds. Generally,
yes.
honestly, why should you have anything more than 3 or 4
actually,
funds?
how many funds
Yeah.
do you have?
That is the
Myself.
problem.
Yeah.
This how many
Yes.
funds and how many stocks is a important parameter, madam.
Ah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because usually there is no point in having.
MFU is there.
MFU, yeah.
Yeah, mutual fund central is reasonably
Utility.
considered good, but again, my camps I have not had a problem because I have 3 or 4 funds. That's it. So from
Okay.
something like 15, 20 funds when I started in 2013, now it's just down to 3 or 4 funds.
So for many, I think Grow is like the interface of Grow is very nice. Maybe you can try.
Some prefer coin also, but what I have done is I have individually gone to each mutual fund apps and done, because like if something collapses, let one collapse, then only it's difficult for me, no? Otherwise it's fine.
So why don't you go to MFU, which has everything there, and you don't need anything? It has all the mutual funds there. It is for a beginner, probably MFU is a good one. So the economics book is coming out, so we will have a chapter on how to use MFU. So
MFU, yes. Okay.
Okay, I think a lot of discussion has happened, good discussion, and we are long over with time. And but we will keep meeting every Wednesday with more things to discuss about finance. So if you say so, Dr. Jayashree and Dr. Shraddha, can we close the session for now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you to
Thank
all
you,
to the
ma'am.
speaker.
It's a
Thank you
nice,
to
very
all the
nice session.
panelists, and let's meet again next week.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Thank
Mohita. Thank
you.
you,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you,
good
everyone.
night.
Thank you.
Bye
Yeah.
bye.
Bye.